Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Katie. This video we're going to be doing a first impression. So this is July's full face first impressions, in which I try on a whole face of new makeup. Quite sick, if you can tell by my voice. Everything that I brought this month is from Beauty Bay. So I've got some Nabla, I've got some Revolution, I've got Milani, I've got Anastasia Beverly Hills, etc, etc. Also, I've just dyed my hair, so when I get closer into my face, there'll be some hair dye patches, so please ignore that. We're probably not going to look our best on this video. We're sick, we've got hair dye all over our face, it's just not great. So first thing I'm going to try out is concealer. I always like to try this out on my eye area before I do any of the makeup to see what the coverage is like. The concealer that I got is the Cover FX Power Play Concealer, which I know quite a lot of people really like this concealer. It's the lightest shade I got. It's N Fair 2. There is a white shade, so obviously that would be the lightest shade, but this is the one after that, I think. I think it was described as having neutral undertones, which should be alright. Prefer warm or neutral undertones. As long as it's not like super salmony and pink, then we're good. It's a bit smaller than I thought it was going to be, which is a bit annoying because it's very expensive. But you know, whatever. Also, the lid is also like really tightly screwed on, so it's like a freaking workout every time you do open it. I think the colour does look pretty good. I actually feel like it looks slightly warm. Okay, so just zooming in to my eye area so you can see all of my lovely discoloration. And I'm going to pop a bit of this on the eyelid and my under eye on one side, so you can see side by side. God, I'm gonna like lose my voice 20 times in this video. I think the colour looks alright actually. We'll see what it's like when it's blended out. I feel like I've heard more good things than I have bad about this concealer, so we will see. We will see. I feel like I might need a bit more product than that. Do you think this is full coverage? Side by side, you can definitely tell that's covered. I've got like quite a big purple circle on this side. I think that's like borderline full coverage, definitely. I think it is really good coverage, like I'm happy with that. It's also not too dry, which great. I feel like a lot of concealers lately have been really dry. So I actually do like the finish of it. It sits in my lines a bit, but not as bad as some of the like drier concealers that I've tried recently. I think it's good coverage. I don't know if I think it's like super full coverage. I think if you had like foundation on the underneath, it would like look full coverage, definitely. But just on its own, I think it's like a really high medium, maybe like a low full coverage. But it's not the best coverage I've ever found, but I think it's pretty good. Like it's definitely covered really well, as you can kind of see my two eyes side by side. So yeah, I like that. I like that quite a lot. We will see what it is like over the top of foundation. For eyeshadow, I got this Mahusive palette from Revolution, which is the Maxi Reloaded palette, and this is the Monster Mattes one. So they have like a few different colour schemes of these big palettes. And I was conflicted on whether or not I wanted to get this, just because, well, there wasn't any reviews for it on the Revolution website or on Beauty Bay. It was like, it just didn't have any reviews. I went on Superdrug and there was about 6 or 7 reviews, and pretty much all of them said that it was good and worth trying, so that made me want to get it. And also just because I loved the look of the colour scheme, like in particularly this garish green really caught my eye. Hit me up Miss her in a video. I think it was this palette she was talking about. It might have been another one of the Reloaded palettes, but I think it was this one. She did mention that she didn't really like it that much, so that kind of put me off getting it a bit. But then I looked at the Superdrug reviews, and then I don't know, in the end I just decided that I would go ahead and get it. I have swatched some of the shades. It seems a bit mixed, but the thing is, I feel like with mattes, they don't always swatch well, but then they translate well in the eyes. So I guess we'll figure out what the case is with this one. What I'm going to do is do one eye off camera and then do the other one on camera, just because that way I will get a look that I'm happier with. 20 hours later, I'm back with an eyeshadow look that I don't love, but it's going to have to do for now because I messed about with this eyeshadow palette a lot. I'm not super impressed with it. Like, there were some shades that worked fine, but some of them, they were just really not very pigmented and they just had to be built up a lot. I don't know, I'm not blown away by this palette, but I will keep playing around with it just so I can really pinpoint which colours are okay and which ones aren't, because there are some like ones that work, like this blue one that I've got on my outer corner is really pigmented and showed up really well, and I think these redder ones I use for my crease are also quite good, so it's not like a complete dud or anything, but I do think there's definitely some major consistency issues with this palette. But nonetheless, I'm going to try and do this same eyeshadow look on this eye. So I'm starting with this bright red shade, this one here, and that's going for the crease. This one works quite well, I feel like there's some decent pigmentation to it, so no issues with this one. But it's just like I already have like a lot of reds that are this colour that are equally as pigmented, and you know what I mean. See, I was kind of hoping that some of the more like unique shades in this palette would be the good ones, if you get what I mean. Like, I did originally try and use this bright green one, and like it needed so much building to be pigmented, and I just thought it was really disappointing, to be honest, because that was the shade that I really liked the look of. But because I've already got red shades like this that work well, you know what I mean, I was just expecting the more different shades to be the standout, but maybe not. But nonetheless, this red is absolutely fine. There are a few other Revolution palettes I would like to try. I really do want to try Kami's latest palette, just because I've heard a lot of good things about like the foiled shades and that, so I will get that one at some point. And also I think I Heart Revolution just came out of like this all white chocolate sprinkle palette, and like I saw a video on their channel, and these two girls were doing looks, and they actually looked really pigmented, so I might get that one at some point as well. It was a very vibrant looking palette. I do think like Revolution eyeshadows, like I feel like I've tried more good ones than I have bad ones, but I know that because they've got so goddamn many that it's obviously going to be consistency issues. They're not all going to be amazing, and I do feel like maybe they should just calm it down with the amount of eyeshadows that they're releasing, because like I swear there's a new palette like every 2 weeks. But I did try the Shook palette couple months ago, and I really liked that one, so I think I went in with this one next. It's like a slightly deeper browny red. I think it was that one, I can't remember, it might have been a slightly deeper brown. We'll figure that out in a sec, but that's just going a bit lower down. Okay, and then just using this really like deep reddy brown shade and kind of working that in the outer third. And then using the matte white shade just to blend under my brow bone. I quite like this matte white, I think it shows up quite well. A lot of matte whites just don't do anything, but this works quite well to blend under the brow bone. Okay, I'm now using the Cover FX concealer and just cutting the crease. I'm using the matte white again, and that's kind of going in the inner part of the eye, or just cut the crease. And then using this minty pastely blue shade and putting that in the middle. And then using this deep blue shade in the outer part. This one's quite pigmented. When I was doing it on the other eye, I did the deep blue first and then the mint blue, and it kind of made it go a bit patchy, but now that I've done it the other way around, I think it's working better. It doesn't seem to have gone as patchy. Turned out a lot better on this eye than it did on this eye. Okay, right, so I think I like this look. It's definitely better on this eye. I just feel like I managed to get it to blend and look less patchy on this eye. It's just gone a bit patchy, if you can kind of see what I mean. I don't know. That's just kind of my fault with placement and stuff, though. I don't hate this palette. I don't love it. I think there's a lot of consistency issues, but I feel like you can tell, like, from the shades I've used, like, there are definitely some nice shades in there that show up quite well and blend quite well. Part of me does wish I did get a different palette, though. Like, I don't know, but we'll keep playing around with it. I'll try and use as many different shades as I possibly can. It is all matte, so I mean, I wouldn't necessarily always want to use just this palette. I'd maybe want to use some shimmers from different palettes or singles or whatever in combination with it. Okay, so I'll move on to my waterline now. I've got the Nabla Velveteen Bombay Black Long Lasting Matte Eye Pencil. Looks like this. It is just a kohl pencil. That's what it looks like. So I'm just going to pop this on my top and bottom waterlines and see how pigmented, creamy it is. Right, okay, it's definitely super creamy and like really smooth to apply. If I'm being honest, it's not the most pigmented eyeliner I've ever used. Like, I mean, yeah, it shows up, you can definitely see it's there. It's definitely a present. But I don't know, I feel like it's not the most dramatic black. I've definitely found like more dramatic ones. But I think the smoothness is very nice, so I like it, but it's definitely not my favourite kohl pencil I've used. For mascara, I've got this one from a brand called Milani, which I don't think I've actually ever tried anything from them. They're quite an affordable brand that is on Beauty Bay. This is the Intense Volume Mascara. They had quite a few, and this one did have some decent reviews, so I thought I'd give it a go. And also because it wasn't too expensive, because there's quite a lot of expensive stuff on Beauty Bay. It's got this type of wand, quite thick. So I'm just going to go ahead and coat my top lashes and see what this does for them. Right, okay, so it did take quite a lot of building, but in the end I actually think that's a really good mascara. Like, that's given me a lot of thickness and a lot of volume. I'm actually really impressed with that. That's a nice little mascara. The only downside is that it did take me quite a while, so it's not like a quick use thing, but I mean, I'm the type of person that spends ages putting my makeup on anyway, so yeah, really like that. Pleasantly surprised. I'm now going to move on to my base, which means I need to blow the hell out of my nose. Foundation I brought is from Nabla. This is the Nabla Close Up Futuristic Foundation, and I got mine in the shade L10, which I think is the lightest shade. This came out like a couple months ago on Beauty Bay, but I haven't seen like any reviews or like any like discussion on this foundation at all. So I thought I'd try it for myself and see what it's actually like. I think it's described as like a medium buildable coverage sort of foundation. It says even out your complexion in a seamless second skin perfection with the weightless and ultra blendable foundation. The innovative texture gives a luminous matte finish and an incredible soft focus effect with a medium buildable coverage. The shade looks pretty good. In fact, it might be like a tiny bit light, which is, I don't mind if something's a tiny bit light because I can easily darken it up with powder, concealer, bronzer, whatever. Definitely is more warm toned, yeah. That's a shade there. That looks like it's gonna work really well for my skin. Again, it's quite small packaging. Like, I kind of wish that these expensive foundations and concealers would have like more in them. Yeah, I've obviously got like hair dye patches on my face, so I'm not expecting my foundation to cover those or anything. Of this, I think I like the level of coverage. I feel like it's definitely the sort of coverage that it describes, like a sort of medium buildable. Like, I'm happy with the level of coverage. I don't think it's full coverage, but I would describe it as like a high medium, so that's nice because that's my personal preference. I feel like it looks semi matte. There's definitely like, it's definitely not super matte. There's definitely a bit of dew coming through. It's not super smooth, but if I'm honest, like, I feel like when I have hair dye on my face, it's hard to 100% know like how like smooth it is overall, because I feel like when you get a hair dye on your face it kind of accentuates texture a bit and stuff. But I quite like this. I think it looks quite nice. I like the coverage. I have to see how it wears. We'll have to see what it looks like when I'm not covered in hair dye. But I think I quite like this foundation actually. See, normally when I'm sick I just don't bother wearing foundation because I know that it's gonna like come off. I am noticing actually that this foundation's sinking quite like far out, like under my eyes. It doesn't, oh god, I'm just ruined a patch of my foundation now. Okay, right, let's put some more of this Cover FX concealer on. I feel like because that foundation's a little bit light, this looks a bit deeper now. Maybe this isn't the perfect shade. So I'm just putting some under my eyes, on my nose, which is pointless, and around my mouth. The doe foot's quite strange on this. Okay, I like how that concealer has blended on top of foundation, and I like the coverage. So yes, I quite like this cover effects thing. With the foundation, I'm going to have to test this out a bit more because I can't, I need to test them more before I can give like a full opinion. Like, I like it, but we'll see. I do feel like it's sunk into my lines quite a bit. For setting powder, I got another Nabla product. This is the Nabla Close Up Smoothing Pressed Powder, and I got mine in the shade Light, which looks like it is definitely going to work for my skin tone. It does look very pale, so that should be fine, I hope. Okay, this is actually coming out darker than it looks in the pan. That's not great. Oh my god, it's looking kind of orange. I am disappointed. My face is now orange. It is literally bright orange. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. What the hell? It looks light. It's orange. My face looks ridiculous. Good job I'm at home because I would not leave the house like that. That was ridiculous. It really bloody pisses me off that so many powders are just orange that are supposed to be light or fair or whatever. I just thought that it looked light online. I'm annoyed now because that wasn't a cheap powder to buy. The finish is actually alright. It's a bit cakey, but I find that most powders are. It's not separated under my eyes or anything like a lot of powders do, so that's good. Anyway, we're going to carry on anyway. So Milani released a new bronzer on Beauty Bay recently. This is the Silky Matte Bronzing Powder. I got mine in the light shade 01 Sunlight. They do have another bronzer, like a baked one, that I was tempted to get, but then they released these ones and they looked pretty, so I'd go for it. The shade looks like it would be a good shade for pale skin, although I'm orange right now, so it doesn't matter. So obviously I can't test how well it works on pale skin because I'm not the right colour right now, but we'll go ahead and bronze up our face anyway. I can't really tell you much about the colour of it because my face is just wrong. But the formula seems pretty nice. Yeah, I like it, but I can't give a full opinion on it until I've not got a completely orange face. Milani also released some new highlighters. These are the Stellar Lights highlighter palette in the shade 02 Holographic Beams. I think they had 2 colour options. Obviously I wouldn't be able to use that shade as a highlighter, but I could use it to like top over my bronzer. I might actually do that, why not? And then obviously these two I could use for highlighters on my skin tone. I actually use a bit of the bronzy shade just on my bronzer brush and top a bit over here. Just give it a bit of shimmer. Why not? Right, which shade should we use? Well, I'll use both. I'll start with the light pinky shade on one cheekbone and then I'll try the bluey one. I really like the single Milani highlighter. I know the shade of mine is like Afterglow, but I can't remember what the actual highlight is called, but I really like that one, so I thought I'd try another Milani highlight. Yeah, that's pretty. That shows up nicely. It's definitely got a really strong pink hue to it. Yes, that is a pretty highlighter. That showed up really well. Nice pretty pink colour. Need to try it out on my actual skin tone. Alright, let's try the bluey one on the side, and that is also really pretty. Very pigmented. I feel like it looks kind of weird though when you've got an orange face, these sort of colours, but when I've got my actual skin tone I think it'll look a bit more natural. These are both pretty. I'm just going to stick with the blue one and just finish putting that on all over my face. This is a nice highlighter palette, definitely. I like it, very pigmented, but I'm going to have to see what the colours kind of translate as on like my fairer skin. So I got a mini version of the new ABH Dip Brow Gel. I got mine in the shade Dark brown. It's pretty good size for a mini, to be honest. So I thought I'd snap it up. Like, a lot of full size eyebrow gels are like the same size as this, so I thought that was actually a pretty good size for like a mini. And obviously because ABH is really expensive, it's nice that I can get one for slightly cheaper. It's still like £9, so it's not super cheap, but I thought considering the size, it's pretty good. It's not the one that's quite small. I'd rather it be a little bit smaller, but we'll see what it's like. I'm going to use this to brush for my brows to start with, and then I've got a brow pencil to fill them in a bit more, but I'll start with the gel. Oh my god, I've already fucked this up. This isn't going well. This started off quite good, and it's just going downhill. I think maybe when I'm sick I just can't apply makeup. I can't apply makeup when I'm not sick. Okay, well that brow went a bit better. I still don't love it though. I feel like I'm a little bit disappointed in this gel. Maybe I'm just like applying it terribly, which I am applying it terribly. Like, this brow, what the hell has happened? Like, this one looks sort of okay. That is a mess. I'm gonna have to keep using that, but it's reminding me a lot of the Barry M1 I tried last month, and that is just kind of like too much product, if you get what I mean, like too much, and I would prefer a slightly smaller one. Another Nabla product, this is the Brow Divine Ultra Slim Retractable Brow Pencil. I think the shade is Uranus. Well, I normally like to use like micro brow pencils to just touch up a bit. It is just a standard micro brow pencil. I mean, I might be able to get it to work on this brow, but the other one, I think that could work quite nicely, but I can't really tell on these brows. I'm going to put the blue shade from the highlighter palette in my inner corner. And I'm not even going to put anything on my lower lash line because I'm just fed up now. This has ruined my mood. That actually looks really good in the inner corner. I think this will be in a really nice highlighter. Yeah, I don't want to put anything on my lash line. I just don't want to do it. I'm just annoyed. So I'm just going to go back in with mascara on my bottom lashes. Last product, a liquid lipstick from Nabla. I did get a lot of Nabla. This is the Nabla matte liquid lipstick in the shade Dreamy. It's a very like MAC Stone shade. I feel like the swatch I saw online made it look a little bit lighter than it actually is, so I feel like I did want this to be a little bit more nudie. I'm gonna just apply this. Use smooth. I do really like that colour actually, it is pretty. We'll see what it dries down to, but it felt quite smooth to apply. I didn't mess up my lip line as much as I normally do. That's everything, I'll be back in a sec. This is the finished look. I hate it. Okay, I feel like it was not salvageable with the setting powder and the eyebrow gel. That just ruined it, really. I just couldn't fix it after those things. Eyeshadow palette I have mixed thoughts on. I think in the end the eyeshadow look is alright, you know. I think there's just some consistency issues with it. Some nice shades, some not so good shades. We'll keep playing around with it and get back to you on that. Eyeliner in the waterline was okay, not my favourite. Really creamy, really smooth, but I just feel like I found more pigmented ones. I really like the mascara actually, the Misslin one. This is really good, I like this, I can't wait to keep using it. Happy that I found that. I quite like the foundation from First Impressions, but I'll need to keep trying it. I quite like the concealer, I think it blended really nicely on top of foundation, and the coverage is pretty good, so I do quite like the Cover FX concealer. Setting powder, absolute disaster. This literally just made my face bright orange, and like, even if the finish is nice, which is okay, it's not the best finish, but it's alright, it just made me orange. Like, I could not leave the house with this face. I can't even use that powder again, really. Like, I've just wasted my money, basically, so that's just annoying to me. I don't know if it picks up on camera, but in person it just looks like ridiculous. I can't tell you about the colour of the bronzer in terms of working on pale skin, which I normally have, but the formula seemed fine. I think the highlight was really pretty and showed up well. Again, we'll need to see what it looks like on my pale skin. The eyebrow gel, I need to keep using that and try and find a way around it, but it seemed just a bit too thick and splodgy from first impressions, but I'll see if I can like find a way to get it to work. I think the Nabla brow pencil could be quite nice, but again, I didn't really have the opportunity to use it the way I would with this thick, mushy situation going on. The liquid lipstick is drying down now. It's still like a little bit sticky, but I feel like it probably just needs a little bit longer, but it's definitely gonna have a matte finish, you can tell. I like the colour, it's pretty. I think it could be quite a nice liquid lipstick. Like, it definitely does settle into my lines a bit, but not too badly. I've had liquid lipsticks that have like just looked horrible, like in terms of dryness, but like it does settle into the lines a bit, but I feel like to an extent that's unavoidable because that's just a kind of texture that most people have on their lips. I think I've just used a lip balm beforehand, which I didn't do today. Could have benefited from that. I think overall I found probably more good products than bad products, but there's just been some disasters along the way. But you know, I still had fun trying the makeup on, but I'm gonna blow my nose and ruin it all now. So any updated thoughts and opinions I have on these products, which I'm definitely gonna need for this video, will be it will be my June and July. It'll be my June and July makeup recap, which will be up probably mid to late August, and then I will expand on my thoughts on all of these products. So thank you for watching this first impressions, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.